fans. I'm your host, Natasha Martinez, and this is The Daily Show, where we give you all the latest news in the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Joining us this Friday is Dennis Tzeng.
Hello, and everyone. Welcome back to another brand new episode of Collider Movie Talk. We had a lot of great stuff going on. Rogue One dropped yesterday. We did reaction and review. We had the awesome episode of Collider Jedi Council, and we have Schmodown coming out later today.
Yeah, also joining us today, Josh Macuga.
Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Really excited to see that Bruce Springsteen, Melissa McCarthy movie this weekend. Boss. The Boss?
Wrong film.
Oh, my bad.
And Kristian Harloff also joining us
Oh, it's so very
today.
nice to see you guys today.
All right, guys, before we get into our regular scheduled program, which we also have some tweaks to, because some news dropped about the first topic about Edge of Tomorrow, we also came across another story about the Spider-Man reboot where they asked Kevin Feige whether they asked him about that movie, and he talked about how the Marvel Universe characters might make cameos in that. Kristian, who do you think they're going to have in the Spider-Man movie?
Iron Man. I think that it makes sense to put Iron Man in there because I think Tony Stark is going to give him that suit. I think that there's going to be a relationship between the two of them. I also think it makes sense if you really want to kickstart that brand new Spider-Man world, you take your biggest star from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, who is Robert Downey Jr. and Tony Stark, and you put him in there. Now, whether or not someone else pops in there like Black Panther, maybe. But I'd probably bet the bank that it's going to be Tony Stark.
Josh?
I mean, I said villain. I wanted to see Vulture, but that obviously nobody really cares about Vulture because he's an old cranky man that flies. I guess I would like to see Wolverine. Everybody kind of throws that something.
He can't make it though because he's not part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
He's just part of the.
He's
X-Men.
part of Fox. Yeah. So it's got to only be Marvel. It's got to be the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, like who of the MCU would you want or think is going to appear in the Spider-Man reboot? But basically, Feige, when they asked him about the Spider-Man reboot, he said he is in the universe now, and the fun of the universe is that characters go back and forth, which means he's hinting that someone like a Tony Stark, Iron Man, or Captain America can show up in the Spider-Man movie.
I don't think I can get enough Ant-Man. If there's Ant-Man in there, I'd love to see that. I think Spider-Man needs some of that energy that we lost in the reboots of the reboot. So like the third edition, let's throw some of these awesome guys in there.
Ant-Man's a good possibility as well too, and I see some of the fans are writing Ant-Man as well because Paul Rudd is ecstatic to be part of this thing.
Yeah.
He loves being in the superhero world, so I think that I wouldn't be surprised. I want to see how he fits in to Civil War. Once that happens, once we see how, because the stuff that we saw at D23, they haven't showed really at all in any of the trailers, and there was a good interaction that he has, at least in that film. So to cross him over into Spider-Man, maybe.
Yeah, and a lot of people have been saying that, I forgot exactly which movie it was. Was it Age of Ultron where they had like a news thing where at the little thing ticker at the bottom was about like Stark giving away grants?
That was at the where it was something. No, it was Ant-Man. It was the special features of Ant-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And there was like a news report where it said that Tony Stark had been giving scholarships to urban city kids.
Yeah, and people were speculating that maybe that was the tie-in to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I think Tony Stark is the most likely. He may not show up as Iron Man though. It might just be Tony Stark.
Right. Yeah.
And Andrew Garfield was a little more of a smartass than Tobey Maguire, which could maybe trend towards, because Ant-Man, Paul Rudd was a great kind of a smartass, and obviously Iron Man, that's his shtick. So maybe a little bit of similar attitude coming in.
All right, what's next?
Edge of Tomorrow 2 is officially one big step closer to becoming a reality, with Deadline reporting that Christopher McQuarrie was attached to direct Edge of Tomorrow 2. But later, a tweet from McQuarrie debunked that news, saying he is not directing and that Doug Liman will be back in the director's chair, saying there's no Edge without Doug. Edge of Tomorrow 2 will bring back Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt, with race scribes Joe Shrapnel and Anna Waterhouse tapped to pen the script. The Doug Liman-directed 2014 sci-fi film was a hit with critics, but didn't quite catch on at the box office. But that changed as the word of mouth spread like wildfire, with Blu-ray sales and rentals giving the movie a chunk of money later down the line, enough to warrant a sequel. No release date has been set. Dennis, thoughts on Edge of Tomorrow 2's new director, Christopher McQuarrie?
Well, I mean, we found out that it wasn't his.
Yes.
He's not being the director. This happened literally as we were doing our pre-production meeting. We had this all set. We were like, okay, Deadline says Christopher McQuarrie is directing. And I thought, oh, that's a little surprising. I thought Doug Liman was coming back, but it kind of made sense because he was, so involved with Tom Cruise with Jack Reacher and Mission Impossible, and then we saw that shift with Gambit in terms of the scheduling, maybe Doug Liman couldn't do it. But it sounds like he is, which is great. I mean, it was a movie that I really enjoyed, and I was actually quite surprised that they're making a sequel because it didn't really make that much money in the box office. Kristian?
I'm not surprised that they're making a sequel because of the response that it got after it came out in the theater. It was, I mean, you look at a movie like Kick-Ass, which didn't do great in the theater, but the response gave a sequel. Now, that's not to say that the sequel did great, but this movie was different. There was something about Edge of Tomorrow that I think a lot of people, some people liked Oblivion, but for the most part, people found it fairly boring, and people thought that Edge of Tomorrow was just going to be Oblivion too. It wasn't. It was one of my favorite movies of that year. And then I hear this morning that McQuarrie's directing it, and I'm like, well, that's interesting. I guess it makes sense because of the relationship that he and Tom Cruise has. But then I liked what we got out of this story is the confirmation that Doug Liman is in fact doing it. That's who needs to do it. We got the full circle. Doug Liman really made that movie what it was. I mean, obviously Tom Cruise, but I mean, and Emily Blunt added to it, but Doug Liman really had the vision and the way that he pieced together the whole film. So I'm very excited to see that he's coming back. And for people who are saying that I'm being too serious today, that's all I got.
You had 2 bagels before the show
I know,
started.
give me a break.
Carbo loaded. It happens. I've always been on the fence about why we need a second Edge of Tomorrow. I mean, I love the first one. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like one of those movies where it ended and I was like, God, I hope they do another one because it was so well done. I didn't think it per se needed a sequel. But if you're going to do a sequel, better keep in the same tone. I think somebody like Christopher McQuarrie, he did really well. I mean, I loved Rogue Nation, and obviously he wrote Usual Suspects, which in my mind is a top 10 movie of all time. So he knows what he's doing, but at the same time, Edge of Tomorrow needs to stay in that same kind of thing. You need that same vision, same attitude, same director. Keep Lyman. I mean,
McQuarrie did a bunch of rewrites for Edge of Tomorrow, so that's why, I think it was a logical choice if they had replaced Doug Liman, but they didn't. And also, Doug Liman, he did the Bourne franchise. Remember, he did the first one, and then they replaced him with Paul Greengrass.
Right.
And so I thought maybe this was another situation where he had another franchise kind of taken away from him, or he moved on. So, all right, what's next?
Now that Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice is in theaters and the DC Extended Universe officially launched, many rumors and official reports have come out of Warner Brothers stating that the launch didn't go exactly as planned. Zack Snyder's superhero epic was critically panned and didn't fare too well with the box office either. Fans of DC are now asking what it means for DC's next entry from the extended universe, Suicide Squad. Recently, a report from Birth Movies Death stated that Suicide Squad was headed back to set for some reshoots that would add levity to the movie as a direct answer to Batman v Superman's dour tone. But in an interview with Captain Boomerang himself, Courtney, that's apparently not the case. Speaking with Entertainment Tonight about the rumored reshoots and lack of humor in the movie, Courtney said, "I think there's plenty of humor in it. I wouldn't say we're going back to make it funnier. There's some additional action stuff that we've been doing, which is pretty dope. Really, we're just kind of adding it in that sense." Kristian, what are your thoughts on all of these reports of the reshoots adding humor and Jai Courtney's response?
I'm getting sick of the reports. I'm getting sick of hearing about the reshoots. Reshoots happen all the time, and we know my opinion on Jai Courtney, but I will tell you this, and I said it last night on Schmoes, and I'll say it again. I think that he was the best thing about that trailer. I'm rooting for him in this film, and I loved his comments. I believe the fact they're going back to shoot action scene. From what you've seen just so far, it's going to have a warped sense of humor in general. I just don't believe that they're going to go, we're so nervous, we have to add everything now. In the movie, Batman v Superman still made a lot of money. Did it make them the money that they wanted to? Probably not, but is that going to change a total shift in tone? No, because it's David Ayer directing it. It's not Snyder. So if Snyder was doing Suicide Squad again, and then maybe they were like, listen, we should do something else because your tone, maybe the fans aren't responding to it as much, but you let David Ayer do his thing, man. And so for me, I don't believe any of the reports that they're going back to change the tone in the movie. I think that they went back. I believe Jai Courtney, and I think that they're exactly doing that, and that's adding some action scenes that, maybe there was a lot of emotion into it, and they was like, let's just add a little more flair because it is a summer movie. It's an August film, so I believe that it's action scenes.
So they're not going to put that dance number in you and I pitched. That Suicide Squad dance number?
Well, damn right they are.
I believe him as well. I think it's a situation where they already had the reshoot scheduled, and then a lot of speculation is about how they want to, change the tone of it. But I don't think that's the case. Judging from because I think one of the rumors was that all the humor from the movie was seen in the trailer, and I just don't believe that. Thinking about the type of characters that are in there with Joker and Harley Quinn, and I just don't see how that's it. I think it's going to be a different type of humor, though. It's not going to be the same kind of humor that maybe we're used to from like a Marvel movie where it's more lighthearted
They're all
and
criminals.
jokey.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be more of a dark, twisted
Yeah.
one, kind of like with Harley Quinn in the trailer. You know, like the voices in her head and stuff like that. So I'm excited. I think Suicide Squad is going to be great. I love that Bohemian Rhapsody trailer. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you can look at shows like The Sopranos, it was super dark, but at its base, it was a comedy, right? And this dark style of comedy, murder, crime, all this kind of stuff, it shows it in the trailer. I will say, I got a couple buddies that are really close to the project. One buddy who's actually in it, and he said that a lot of the action scenes took way longer, so they're coming back after they had to get rid of that and getting some of that money back to shoot those action scenes, which gets me excited because those action scenes are going to be pretty dope.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
I will say though, with Suicide Squad, this is, I mean, look, the Batman v Superman trailer was hysterical. All the jokes we got from that trailer were all in the, you guys didn't. Nope, not feeling it today, Kristian.
Not today.
Those 2 bagels ruined you, man. God.
The action sequence that Air directed in Fury with the tanks, that was awesome.
Yep.
And I hopefully he can do something like that again in a Suicide Squad, especially because we know we have that Batman sequence with the Joker on his purple Lamborghini.
That looks awesome.
Yeah.
That whole
Purple
scene.
Lamborghini.
And by the way, like the Joker himself is a pretty creepy, funny character. I mean, it's like look at the stuff that Heath Ledger did as the Joker. Menacing stuff. But there's some big laughs. The pen, there's a lot of
But
things.
it's like a darker
tone.
Yeah.
You have to be. It's the Joker. He's a psychopath, but there's some funny stuff in it. Now it's almost like you feel bad, or should I be laughing at this? But yeah I'm gonna laugh at it. What are you gonna do about it? So that's what I think. Thanks.
All right, guys. Now on to our buy or sell segment. Natasha, what do we got?
Kingsman and young Han Solo hopeful Taron Egerton took to Twitter yesterday revealing the first poster for the upcoming Kingsman sequel, The Golden Circle. The follow-up will see original director Matthew Vaughn returning to direct with a story that sees Egerton's young spy Eggsy, now a full-fledged Kingsman traveling to America to keep up with the Kingsman's American counterparts, the Statesmen, led by Halle Berry's character. The 2 teams will have to team up to deal with Julianne Moore's formidable villain named Poppy, and while Colin Firth's character wasn't intended to return for the sequel for obvious reasons, spoiler alert, this new poster does tease his return. Fans will have to wait and see when Kingsman The Golden Circle comes to theaters June 17th, 2017. Josh, buy or sell the new poster from Kingsman The Golden Circle?
Man, we got Eggsy, we got Poppy. This sounds like my grandparents. This is like I loved this movie. I think everybody loved this movie. That was like the shocker of last year. And I think, if you're going to tease the comeback of Colin Firth, spoiler alert, then this is a perfect poster for it. This is one of those movies where I'm more excited than any other sequel that's been teased in a while. For sure, Kingsman 2 gets me pumped. Do they need to go to America? I don't know. Statesman, I love Britain stuff, so you can stay in England, but Halle Berry hasn't really been in anything in a while, so maybe she's got that Samuel L. Jackson little surprise role in her.
Well, I'm going to buy it with the right to sell it later, because if they are actually going to bring him back, then okay, that's fine. But if they pull some sort of cop-out thing where they're showing this, and this is implying that Colin Firth is coming back, and then he doesn't, or maybe it's like a short flashback sequence or something like that, I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be pissed off.
Ghost
Kristian?
This is propaganda, guys. They're gonna do. There's a mission right now. They're putting this stuff out there to let whoever they're going up against, or whether Julian Moore, that Colin Firth's still around. He's not around. This is propaganda. It's a thing. It's a tool that they're going to use to say, hey, that our guy's still here. Don't you worry. And Eggsy's going to be like the main guy now working. I'm with you. I don't really necessarily need them to be going to the States. We'll see if the Statesman if it works out. But I don't know. I mean, it's Matthew Vaughn's coming back, so to me, that's where you were talking about before, like Lyman leaving the project. This to me would have been a bigger miss if they wouldn't have brought back Vaughn, because Vaughn really championed this project, gave it that tone. He was, I believe, the star of the Kingsman, and you know how much I love Taron Egerton, but Matthew Vaughn was a star of that film, and I'm glad that he's back to do this. So if he wants to put it in the States, great. But I don't think this teases anything except it's just a part of the story.
So you buying or selling the poster?
Sorry, I'm going to buy the story. I'm going to buy the poster if it is what I'm saying. because because to me that shows that it's not only like, hey, our guy's coming back for you guys, so don't worry, you want to see the movie still, but if it's actually a plot, if it's part of the story, that to me doesn't happen a lot in the posters. It's usually character poster or face or something too. Like this is something different. This tends to be maybe, whether it's cheating the character or if it's cheating the story. So I buy the poster.
You guys are basically like shorting it. Like
Well,
you're
we're
it.
both buying it for totally different reasons.
Yeah.
Because I'm buying it hoping that he does come back, and they're signaling that you're buying it hoping that he's not. And
I don't want him to come back.
And that it's kind of like some sort of ploy.
Yeah.
But don't you think the fans would be mad?
Not if they do it this way, to where if you find out that Eggsy and Halle Berry are using his not death as a way to get in somewhere or a way to infiltrate Julianne Moore's structure or whatever it might be, if she had a relationship with him or whatever it is, if they use it the right way, then no, I'll be fine with it. But if they're cheating it in a way that they don't do that and say he's coming back and then he doesn't come back, then yeah, that'll be a jip.
And Men's Warehouse is the American version of the Kingsman suit shop.
Yes, true.
All right, what's next?
Yesterday's 20th Century Fox released a slew of new character posters from their upcoming X-Men movie, X-Men Apocalypse. Picking up 10 years after the events of X-Men Days of Future Past, the 1983 set film finds the X-Men uniting after the arrival of the first mutant, Apocalypse, played by Oscar Isaac. As they did last week with their Four Horsemen-led posters, Fox now shows us each mutant from the X-Men team who will lead the fight against Apocalypse and his horsemen. X-Men Apocalypse comes to theaters this May 27th. Dennis Buyers sell these character posters from X-Men Apocalypse.
Oh, pains me to say this. I have to sell these posters. They're not terrible or anything, but earlier this week we talked about those awesome Four Horsemen posters that I was like, man, these are great. The studio did a great job with these. I can't believe they made them. And then these are just kind of, to me, standard. It's the big face and whatever, a lot of Photoshop. So, yeah, I have to sell it. Kristian?
Can I buy some of them and sell some of them?
Okay, yeah. Which ones are you buying?
I'm gonna buy Beast because I get it. That's the Beast. Okay, I'm in. I sell Sansa Stark because she looks just like Sansa Stark in an outfit. I sell Jennifer Lawrence not looking like Jennifer Lawrence.
No, that does not look like Jennifer Lawrence.
I buy Xavier. Quicksilver, half buy. Buy Cyclops for sure. Magneto, I'll give you a half buy. Emo Nightcrawler, I'll buy. I'll sell Olivia Munn because it just looks like she's in a G4 shot. And then Storm, I buy Storm. So I'm halfway across the board. Some of them are cool. Some of them are go home, you're drunk.
All right.
I'm going to just steal from Kristian. Sell these because you just said be in the Kingsman thing. Face. It's just a messed up yearbook montage back here. I don't know. Did we need all of these posters? Can't you just put them all in a sweet little group? Aren't they the X-Men? Not like a bunch of X people.
They're like this.
Yeah. Hey guys, we're here to save the world 10 years later. I don't know. This movie sometimes excites me, sometimes it doesn't. Nothing about every time they present this trailer, it's like he's the unbeatable foe. Well, then how the hell are you gonna beat him?
It's called a movie, Josh.
Yeah, I know.
they usually put up a formal villain
saying.
that you don't think can be defeated, and then they find a way.
Yeah.
See, the way films work.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
It's called like characters and stories.
Finally, I get you guys to laugh on this stupid comments. Finally.
All right, what's next?
Universal has unveiled a series of new character posters from the video game adaptation of Warcraft. Co-writer and director Duncan Jones has realized the World of Warcraft universe, hopefully making a movie that will please the fans of the game in which it is based, targeting a similar box office as Lord of the Rings. The movie tells the story of the peaceful realm of Azeroth that stands on the brink of war as its civilization faces some fearsome race of orc warriors fleeing their dying home to colonize another. The new posters promise an epic premise that have fans of the game primed for a good time in theaters. Warcraft is set to hit theaters this June 10th. Kristian, buy or sell these new character posters from Warcraft?
I buy it. You hear me out there? I buy it. I'm going to buy them because to me, this is if you're walking through a movie theater and you don't know what the hell Warcraft is and you're a fan of the fantasy genre and you see this screams fantasy. This screams this sells your movie. This sells exactly what the tone is to me. It also, I think, shows the video game fans of Warcraft that, hey, this is what we're doing with the property that you love. Here are our posters. And I think that it's not just the face. You get the whole, it's like each character is out there. They're displayed. I love that kind of Princess Leia type shot on the bottom right there, too. So it's like Padme meets Leia. So just for that, that's right. I'm Star Wars sweaty, so I've got to buy it because it looks like Star Wars. Come on. Talking to you, Ralph.
Josh?
Ralph is.
These are the yearbook posters of like the family that could afford the bigger pictures of like the kid with the jacket over his shoulder or like in my sports uniform. I'm gonna buy these. I didn't really like the trailer, but these pictures are pretty bad ace. I love scary guy here. I don't know his name. Teeth guys, the orc, the scary old orc, and I love sexy Zoe Saldana from Avatar, but in green. I really like
Paula Patton.
Yeah, Paula Patton. Yeah. These are fun. These are really good. I'm still not sold on this movie. The trailer, it just looks really too CGI for me, but I'm going to buy these pictures. What the heck? They look like an awesome way to cosplay. I'm sure we'll see a ton of it at Comic-Con this year.
I'll buy them. I mean, they're not great posters, but I like them more than those X-Men posters. They show off, like Kristian said, the landscape along with the feel of it, the fantasy feel to it. The one I like the most is actually the Dominic Cooper one because you can see how cool and detailed his armor is and his sword. I'm not a fan of those little Photoshop soldiers in front of him. Like, I don't really care for them. They look like they just tack those on. But otherwise, yeah, I like them. All right, guys. Now on to.
No, we have one more buy or
we got
sell.
one more. Sorry
Yes, we
about
do.
that. Natasha, what's the last buy or sell?
Okay, our last one. Universal Pictures has released a new not-so-safe-for-work red band trailer for Neighbors 2 Sorority Rising. The creative team behind the original are all back this time, which finds Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne's characters enlisting the help of original party boy Zac Efron to battle a sorority so they can sell their home. The film also stars Chloe Moretz, Ike Barinholtz, Carla Gallo, Dave Franco, and Lisa Kudrow. Neighbors 2 Sorority Rising opens in theaters on May 20th. Josh, do you buy or sell the red band trailer for Neighbors 2?
I mean, it kind of looks like the same movie, but I like the first one, so I'm going to buy. We watched it last night before Schmoes, and I enjoyed it. I got a bunch of laughs. I think Seth Rogen, we talked about it a little bit last night, that he might be getting a little oversaturated, but not yet. I'm still enjoying the hell out of it, and Rose Byrne can do no wrong in my eyes. And there's something like this is going to sound super creepy, but like, I mean, Chloe Moretz, great, whatever. Chloe Grace Moretz, that's right?
You're not going to get out of the creepy hole, so say whatever you want. Yeah.
She's sexy. She looks sexy in this movie. My bad. Thanks, guys.
I'm going to buy it as well. I enjoyed the first one. Yes, it looks very similar. It has the same beats to it, but I also laughed. I do think they went to the dildo joke too many times. They went like 2 or 3 times. They had LL Cool J in there. The first one was funny with the kid pretending that it was a doll, but then with LL Cool J and his daughter, I think that was a little too much. The clown thing, we saw that in the first trailer. It cracks me up every single time, even though I know it's coming. Kristian?
I'm selling this hard.
Oh, man.
It looks like this. It's the same movie. It's the same rehash trailer that I've seen from the first one. I thought the first one was good. I actually liked it better the second time I saw it. I got some laughs at it, but it just looks like it's like every other comedy sequel. Like we've talked about many times, you could probably on all 10 of your fingers name all the comedy sequels that are good, and then you'll be tapped out.
If on 10.
If on 10, and this might be down the same path. It just looks like the same movie. I didn't find any of the Chloe Moretz stuff funny. I found it kind of like the stupid thing with the phone, and she was like, "All people use cord phones." It's like, and then the other stuff. I don't know. Maybe just being grouchy. I don't know. I just didn't like it. I was watching it. There were a couple laughs, and I might wind up digging it. But I just from this trailer, it's the same movie.
Come on, Kristian.
Sorry.
Good old phone cord humor. That's classic pratfall.
1980.
That's Gallagher, 1983. Smash the watermelon.
Natasha, are you looking forward to Neighbors 2? Did you see the first one?
No, it's just not.
Too raunchy for you?
I mean, not even that it's too raunchy. It's just not really interesting to me. Like,
same
just
movie.
a bunch of party scenes. I mean, this picture back here, like, that's pretty funny, but.
Were you in a sorority?
No, I was not. I'm anti-sorority.
Interesting. I'm an honorary member of 2, so there you go.
Honorary.
All right, guys, now on to our weekly segment, Box Office Predictions, brought to you by our friends at AMC Theaters. This is where we try and predict the top 5 movies coming out this weekend. Josh, what do you got for your top 5?
Well, I just want to say that last week I didn't get any really in the top 5, but I did beat you in the prediction, which was a tiebreaker. But I just wanted to flaunt my, because I never get victories on here. I'm going to go Batman vs. Superman 1, Boss 2, Zootopia 3. regarding Henry, Hardcore Henry.
Regarding totally different movies.
Hardcore Henry 4 and My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2 5.
I will go Batman v Superman #1, The Boss #2, Zootopia #3, My Big Fat Greek Wedding #4, and Hardcore Henry #5.
So
Kristian?
flip.
A little bit different. I'm going to go with The Boss at #1.
Oh,
I'm gonna-
wow.
Batman.
Over Batman v Superman.
I think Batman and Superman is going to be about 20-25 million, and I think that Boss will do a little more than that.
Really? Rated R?
It got 10% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I hope
10.
it got 2%. It's terrible, but I don't know. I think that there's something about Melissa McCarthy. Plus the fact I want to try to beat Dennis, so it's either go balls to the wall or go home. So I'm going to predict wrong that The Boss is coming in #1, and then I will say that Batman v Superman at 2, Zootopia at 3, regarding Henry 2 at 4, and then Big Fat Greek Wedding at 5.
Okay. All right, guys. Now, before we get onto mailbag, I want to remind you we're going to take your live Twitter questions. Just tweet us at Collider Video on Twitter, and Natasha will pick out a few. Let's get on with mailbag.
Brevin Campbell writes, why does every one movie need an opening credits scene and an ending credits? Can we just have one or the other? I sometimes find it annoying. There are a few films that can do it well, like Batman v Superman, but most like Focus, Hateful Eight, and 50 Days of Summer make it annoying.
I think he meant 500 Days of Summer. It's an old school thing. I mean, all the old movies have opening credits, and you have to have end credits. I mean, it's not one or the other. You can't have just opening credits because they only list like all the main actors, the directors, the producers. There's a bunch of other people that work on movies, so there's no way end credits are going away. Opening credits, it's up to the director and the studio whether they want to have them or not. I personally don't mind them. Kristian?
Opening credits, best opening credits of all time are Deadpool.
Oh, yeah.
Of all time.
Oh, yeah.
But you have to, they're never going away because that's how people get their due from working on the movies and working hard, especially when you go to like these premieres or if you go, people who work, they sit there, they watch the credits because they want to see the acknowledgement. You know, it's like even the best boy. He'll go and he'll watch and go, oh,
And
look
Best
at
Boy
me.
too.
And the Best Boy too. They get excited to see their names, and they should. For all the hard work that they put into the movie, they have credit in that film. Now, I understand where some people have the problems with the Tarantino's movies where he does it. He's doing an homage to the old films, the way that they used to do it. And if you watch some of those old films, it's painful.
Oof.
Like, it's painful when they start those credits, and it's just like, it takes you like 5 minutes before you're in the movie, and it's just title cards, and that's why they stopped doing that because it brought a halt. But I actually like when Tarantino does it because it's just like a nice throwback. You don't see it all the time. I couldn't deal with it every movie because you go back and you watch some classics and when they do it, it's just like, or even though some of the
It's
old
just
Disney
big
movies, like
band
Well, they
movie.
the
Jungle Book,
score,
by the way.
and then
Yeah.
they have just and they, you know, back then, like it's not like a few seconds. They leave it on there for
Forever.
A long
That's right.
time.
Well, because
Right.
it's
Like-
19 names on one title card.
Yeah,
Like
and
jamming
the
your
music's
face.
just kind of blasting in there, and it's
Yeah.
like fine, and then it finally fades in. You're like, okay, it's essentially the end credits. That's what they did. They pushed it to the back. So you'll never see the end credits go away because that's how people get their credit.
Josh.
I think one of the best end credits is Superbad, with all the drawings of the dicks.
Oh, all right.
Now we know where your mind's at.
Come on, it's pretty funny. I don't have a problem with opening credits. Usually they're just kind of like at the bottom or something, and they'll cold open and then go into some credits, which I don't really care. But I think the hard part is the end credits. So many movies now, I sit and I wait to see if there's an end credit scene. So you have to sit through all like Best Boy 2, Best Boy Grip's buddy Alex. You have to sit through all that. So could they shorten the end credits a little bit? Maybe. But you can't get rid of them.
Yeah, what are you
altogether.
going to shorten them with, though?
I
I,
know.
mean, you're like, oh, hey,
Smaller
by the
font?
No, by the way, you worked on this movie, but nah, you don't get a credit.
Yeah.
You're not important enough. You know?
2 columns of credits?
Alex is retired.
Oh, Alex retired.
Yeah.
My bad.
Okay. All right, what's next?
Josh Oscar writes, hey Collider crew, I've been a huge fan since the AMC days. My question is, now that Suicide Squad is the next major DC movie hitting theaters, do you think it is possible we see the death of Robin in Suicide Squad? We know for a fact this will be the first movie in the newly established DCU with Batman and Joker together, and it can be safe to assume this is before the events of BVS because of Batman's emotional state in BVS. The timelines could definitely line up, and it would definitely be a nice setup into another Joker-Batman conflict in the more than likely upcoming solo movie in 2018.
Christ.
That's
a lot of words.
I don't think they will. I think it's too big of an event to have in Suicide Squad, which is, we know Joker's in there, and we know Batman makes a cameo, but I think it's too big an event to put in that movie. Maybe in a Batman solo film where they have Joker, and maybe I think they might reference it. Joker might reference killing off Robin in Suicide Squad, but I just can't see them doing that in the movie. I'm sure there's a lot of other stuff they need to cover in that film.
We haven't even seen Robin yet.
Well, I saw the costume in
right there.
And
Batman
v
v
Superman.
Right.
But we don't know kind of what happened if they're going to do the history. I'm with you 100%, dude. I think that it kind of takes away from what the overall mission is in Suicide Squad, and that's establish everything that they're doing there. You have the quick cameo with Batman. Maybe that's how he gets Joker in the can in the beginning of the movie. Explore it in the Batman. Explore it in the standalone film when Ben Affleck finally does it, when it's announced sooner than later, I would probably guess. Let's hear a little bit more about it. I thought that they did that well in Batman v Superman with with his parents and the origin story. That we've seen it so many times, but they did it in a way I thought that was more or less fresh, but nice with the kind of inner tying of the story. Maybe they do that with the Robin story as well too.
Yeah, and I think, okay, Chris O'Donnell was Robin, but it really wasn't that well done because it was at the tail end of the Batmans when Joel Schumacher was just making a cartoon, and I think it would be nice to get some actual gravitas with Robin. I want to see some storylines with Robin. I think he's the most well-known sidekick and very underutilized so far in the movie universe.
Yeah, we had him for like a minute and a half in the Nolan version.
Yeah,
so.
that was more of an homage.
I know.
Though.
Yeah.
And we still don't know if it's like Jason Todd Robin. It can't be Dick Grayson because I have a feeling they want to bring Nightwing into the universe.
Yeah,
it might be Jason Todd. So, all right, guys, that's it for Mailbag. Now on to your live Twitter questions. Remember, you can tweet us at Collider Video. Natasha, what do you got first?
Okay, Jai Patel asks, there's a fan theory that Felicity Jones's character from Rogue One is Rey's mother. Could you please squash this dumb idea?
I hope it's not true. We were talking about it yesterday. If you haven't watched Jedi Council, we had both Freddie Prinze Jr., who plays Kanan in Rebels, and Sam Witwer, who plays Darth Maul in The Emperor, and we had him on for like an hour and 40 minutes, and it was great. We talked about everything, and one of the points that was made on that show was the expansion of the Star Wars universe. And I think by making, I'd actually, it's funny though too, because I hear myself make this point, I go against it because I wouldn't mind her being Poe's mother, but I don't need her to be Rey's mother. I don't need her to be Rey's mother at all, because Poe's mother was actually a rebellion pilot, though. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens, but I just don't want that to happen. I agree with you. I happen to think it's kind of a dopey theory. Just because she's another strong female, she has to be Rey's mom. I hope it's BS.
And we're sure it's Rogue One, not Rogue One?
Road One?
No, Rogue One? Like she's the Rogue One.
No, it's not. It's a call sign.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a call sign for the.
Just kind of throwing some stuff out there. Watch me get destroyed, as I said. Can't wait, guys. Always throwing a wrench in the Star Wars system.
That's all right.
I also don't. I hope it's not her as well. It's too convenient. And like, oh, she's the one who led a main principal character that stole the Death Star plans. But and also then she got with Luke, and then I hope it's someone we haven't seen. But I still think that Rey is Luke's daughter. I'm not 100% on that.
Yeah.
But if I believe that, I hope that whoever her mom is someone that we haven't seen before.
They all have to be related, huh?
I mean, not necessarily, but I mean that's kind of what a lot of these people are thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
Okay, Nart asks, thoughts on Civil War's early press screening, seeing that the embargo lifts at 11 p.m. tonight. Is Marvel that confident?
Yes. Yeah. If a studio is going to do press screenings that early and let people talk about it that early, they're usually pretty confident about it.
Yeah, I agree. Especially they've done this with a few of their films, and now if they've seen it, if the buzz has been good around both the maybe test screens that they've done for smaller audiences or for people inside the studio system, and then they say, yeah, we like what we got here. Let's let it loose.
I mean, after what happened with Batman v Superman, you got to imagine the Marvel brass is up in their office, like Elaine when she made the catalog after Jay Peterman left, just smoking the cigar, like, it's a peach, Jerry, a peach.
Right.
Because they're sitting on a mountain of money, just like throwing it in DC's face again, like, watch us make another $1.5 billion. Here it is. It's pretty easy. Here's our formula.
Well, according to some people, that Marvel is paying off the critics to trash Batman v Superman. So that's where part of their money is going, according to some people.
Yeah.
I don't
How much did you get for that?
$6 billion.
Yeah.
That's why I don't.
Yeah.
I had a lot of bagels with that $6 billion.
Yeah, you did.
No.
All right, what's next?
Okay, Aaron asks, are you worried about Gal Gadot saying Wonder Woman's solo film is pretty dark?
I'm not worried. I liked the brief scenes that we saw her in Batman v Superman. So no, if it's dark, I have no problem with that.
I'm okay with it also because it's World War. A lot of stuff happened in World War I during the film too. So you would hope. I don't want I don't want people cracking jokes in the middle of a battle with the Germans. I want to see.
And World War I is one of those wars that really hasn't. I mean, War Horse was great, but Peaky Blinders, the show hits on it a little bit. But World War I is an extremely, extremely dark war. That's why they call it a lost generation of people, because so many people died in those trenches. That warfare was awful, awful stuff. And for Wonder Woman, and also you have Robin Wright, who has played the darkest character in television in the last 4 seasons of House of Cards. You better cash in on that because she is awesome, and she's gonna be. I'm super excited for her in Wonder Woman.
Buttercup, baby, Buttercup.
Also, with the Wonder Woman character, they're saying that she kind of went into hiding because of humanity. So it's got to be something pretty big and pretty dark that sends her there. It can't be whatever.
She has had a lot, and you can even see what I thought Gal Gadot did very well in Batman v Superman was when she would look at that picture and she saw, like, there was a sense of pain. There was a sense of something that, like, she's been around for a very long time. And so some tragedies have to happen. We know that Chris Pine is not around at the point of Batman v Superman. Obviously, he's an old man. So she probably lost him one way or another. So all this stuff happened. So I think that to have a little bit of a darker tone, it makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Daywalker asks, what non-superhero / Star Wars movie are you guys looking forward to this year? For me, it's The Nice Guys.
Silence, Scorsese's movie. I thought that would come out last year, but I'm really looking forward to that. Speaking of Daywalker, I guess I probably announced this now. Last week we did a show on April's Fools.
Yeah.
Yes, you were here with Jason. And there we had one of the stories was an April Fool's story. I think in the comments everyone thought like every story was a joke, but the one that was an April Fool's one was the Blade one, the Michael B. Jordan one. That's one we made up just for that.
Yeah, but there's still hope for Wesley Snipes, guys. Never forget.
Yeah. As far as movies I'm looking forward to, Nice Guys for sure, but the new Bourne movie, I can't wait for the new Bourne movie, the Scorsese movie, Silence. Yeah, those are the ones that I think are staying at Suicide Squad, which we've talked about. It's funny that as we get closer to the Oscar season, all the kind of hype and the trailers and stuff and reviews for those things will come out more, and then that's normally when my shift kind of changes because you don't hear a lot about them yet. There's obviously the Martin Scorsese ones, but for summer movies right now, I'd say obviously Civil War and
Suicide Squad for me,
and Suicide Squad, and I'm more really curious about Independence Day. I'm not.
I was just gonna say that's my number one.
That's your number one.
I'm super excited for that movie. It's gonna be so bad. It's gonna be good.
I'm with you. On
and they're
that
just jamming Chris Hemsworth down our throat every chance.
You
they
mean
get.
Liam Hemsworth?
Whatever.
There's a big difference.
Yeah,
There's a big
My
difference.
bad. Liam Hemsworth.
So some of the comments from the fans here. The Girl on the Train is one for sure that they want to see.
Krisha?
The BFG is one.
BFG, I like that trailer a lot.
Me too.
Good.
Civil War, Bourne, and Jungle Book.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Tom Buxton asks, we don't seem to have heard much on Marvel Studios' Inhumans lately. Any idea whether the project's in trouble at all?
I haven't heard anything either. I don't know if it's in trouble. I just know it's going to be very difficult with them because of what they're doing with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because Inhumans is a huge part of that storyline.
It's the whole thing.
And are they going to bring over any of those characters from there? And then if you do, because you can't assume that everyone that's going to watch the movie has watched the TV show, so you kind of have to give some back history to them. So I think it's tough for Marvel. It's probably one of the toughest ones that they're going to have to do.
I don't know if it's going to happen. They're certainly not focusing on it right now. I think we'll see Captain Marvel and news of that one first before we hear of anything. We'll see how these other ones play out because they still have some brand new ones that they have to debut first. Obviously, with Doctor Strange that comes out, let's see how that plays out. And they have a few more movies that they've got to do before they can even worry about Inhumans. So they're not even worried about it.
Inhumans thing is a little bit like Suicide Squad too. So at least that's how they've been playing it on the TV show.
I feel like Inhumans is kind of like how with Shazam, for DC, where it's like they have announced it, they got some casting. Well, Inhumans don't have any casting, but it's out there, but it's further along. But we're not 100% that it's coming out.
Right.
All right, what's next?
Adam Henson asks, love the show, guys. Can movie trailers cross the line of false advertising?
Absolutely.
All the time. That's what they're there for.
A lot of times, yeah, you'll get. I can't think of an example right off the bat, but I remember many of them where it's like they pitch one movie and then it's not that movie. Oh, you know what's that movie that Jake Gyllenhaal and Anne Hathaway did? That movie was pitched as kind of like a sex romantic kind of comedy. Crazy. The trailers were.
That got dark.
It's a cancer film.
Yeah.
It is.
It's depressing.
Parkinson's.
Is
Doesn't
it?
she have? Yeah, she has Parkinson's.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, whatever. It's
depressing.
It's depressing.
Super depressing.
And the trailers were not that. And the movie was fine. But that's not what you go into that for. So sometimes they'll sell you on one tone and you get something else. That happens often, especially when they don't really know if people are going to like a particular tone. So they kind of shift it and sell another tone. It happens.
Do you
all the
remember
time.
this story? When Drive came out, a lady who ended up seeing it tried to sue the studio because they thought it was like a Fast and the Furious type movie. They're like, I saw the trailer and I thought it was Fast and the Furious, and so she tried to sue them. So
Need for Speed? Is that what it was?
No, Drive.
Oh, Drive.
Yeah.
Right, I remember that. Yes.
Yeah, so they definitely can go down that route.
Like suing McDonald's for having hot coffee.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Any trailers that come to your mind?
No, that point was really good. I'm kind of like racking the brain thinking about it. I went back when we were talking about Christopher McQuarrie and watched the trailer for The Way of the Gun, and that trailer made that movie look good, and that movie was not very good.
People said The Gunman. That's very true. There was a few other ones too.
Well, you had we just watched. It's not false advertising, but we saw Hail Caesar recently, and literally Jonah Hill's scenes in that are basically what's in the movie.
Right, he's not
That's
in
it.
it.
So
Right, yeah.
it's not false advertising, but like it gives you the impression that he's in it more, and he's not.
He's in one scene.
I think that happens a lot.
Yeah.
I think that happened with what was it like Mission Impossible 3?
Two. Someone right as you said that, someone said Mission Impossible too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Dega asks, do you think that Doctor Strange will have any cameos from other MCU characters? If so, who would you like to see?
I don't even know the Doctor Strange universe. I am stuffing.
I hope so, but I don't know. The ones that would fit would be more towards the Netflix Marvel universe,
So like Daredevil,
because the
Luke Cage?
mysticism,
Well,
like Iron Fist or something like that. That's who I would think, but I doubt they're going to cross over and I don't want them to cross over those universes.
I don't want a cameo from
Anyone.
Not in a first Doctor Strange movie. The same way like with Ant-Man, they did it with they needed to kind of do it with help me out, Falcon. So thank you, me. So Falcon, they needed to do it a little bit more, I think, and they were kind of tying together that we're getting close to Civil War. But I don't know if you need to do Doctor Strange. I think you just set him up as he is and put me in this surreal universe. However, if you're gonna use one, it'd probably again be Ant-Man because that was hinted in Ant-Man. That the dimensions were hinted in Ant-Man, so it could kind of maybe cross over, or maybe even have a Michael Douglas kind of cameo pop up in there as well, or at least mentions of them. I think that I would be okay the same way that they mentioned Stephen Strange in Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
So if they do that again with mentions, totally on board.
Josh.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't really know Doctor Strange's world enough.
Okay, so as someone who's not familiar with that, and you're gonna go see the movie, would you be excited more to learn that characters that you know from the MCU are gonna be in it, or does it not matter?
No, I don't think it matters. I'm equally intrigued. This is the Marvel effect of every time they come out with a movie, I'm excited to see it, to see what they do. And because I know very, very little about Doctor Strange, even if you told me so and so's gonna be in it, I would still have the same level of excitement. I think for it.
All right, what's next?
Thank you very little.
Okay, Kent Clark asks, classic
I love that.
Hollywood heavyweights like Redford and Hopkins are jumping into comic flicks. How long until DiCaprio or Pitt are in?
Well, Brad Pitt was in Burn After Reading. He was super funny.
And World War Z.
Yeah.
World War Z was comic book It was a comic book, wasn't it? Or was it a graphic novel?
No, it was a book.
It was a book.
It was
Okay,
a
so I think Brad Pitt's got a more of a chance of seeing Brad Pitt. I don't think Leonardo DiCaprio is going to ever do it.
Yeah, Leonardo doesn't seem, he's not interested in that, I don't think. Kind of like in the same way we talk about Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
He's just not
He was
interested.
supposed to play Spider-Man. He was Spider-Man.
Yeah, but I think that his time has passed now in terms of his
100%,
interest.
I agree. Yeah.
And plus, that was James Cameron right after Titanic.
Yep.
I don't think he's interested. But yeah, Brad Pitt, I could totally see him.
Yeah.
That's like an 11-22-63 scenario. You put Leonardo DiCaprio in the Spider-Man situation. Where's his career now?
I mean, it's probably still be okay.
No, I mean, I'm not saying it would still be okay.
Well, maybe, I see what you're saying. Maybe he'd go
Just-
down
No, I know,
further
it'd be
the
different- it'd
the
be different route.
blockbuster
Yeah,
path.
yeah,
versus,
Yeah, versus
no.
the friggin' Revenant, which isn't, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, because he's that guy that I still
a
think he'd
chameleon.
probably still be in the same path that he's at
Yeah.
now, because he's not just a great actor. He is a great producer, and he knows how to choose things
got a
correctly.
good picker.
That's why. So even if he would have done Spider-Man, he probably still. I don't think he would have been pigeonholed into blockbuster films.
All right, what's next?
Okay, Henry Dingle asks, any news on the Project X sequel? I knew that was going to get a laugh. Any news on the Project X sequel, which is due out in August?
I haven't heard anything. I remember seeing the movie and actually kind of enjoyed it. It was really silly and over the top and kind of stupid, but I actually had fun with it. I don't know why they wouldn't make that movie sooner. It cost nothing to make.
Yeah.
That thing looked so
Found
cheap.
footage, one place.
Yeah, no stars in
Yes,
it, you
nothing.
know.
Just tons of boobs.
Yeah, so I don't know why that didn't even come out sooner.
I'm gonna ask. We're gonna have Ethan Irwin, who is the
yeah.
president of Joel Silver's company, which they did the first one. He's gonna be on Schmoes next week, so I'll ask him where it stands right now too. But that's one I just don't know why you
Yeah,
need a
it
sequel.
was a great
but-
standalone.
Yeah, I don't know why
Yeah.
you need another one. Did it do that great to warrant a sequel? I know it cost nothing, but still.
It made money. That's what it was. Not
Did
that it
it?
was so
Did it
great.
make a
Yeah, it
lot?
made money.
Oh, okay.
I mean, for the cost of it. I mean,
Yeah,
it
yeah, sure.
cost nothing. to
Have you
make.
guys seen the actual guys that they interview? Because it's based on a true story. These Australian kids that did it.
Oh yeah, the kid with the glasses. I love that
The
kid.
interview.
Yeah.
Go look that up.
It's
The guy,
the
like,
best.
oh, he's an Australian guy, and they're like, "Are you sorry?" He's like, "I'm sorry, I got caught." You're like, "This kid's awesome."
And that I love that. I've seen the interview so many
Oh
times.
man, so good.
All right, let's do two more.
Okay, Mujaba asks, why
Bless
does
you.
all DC movies need to be dark? Why can't it depend on the character? Nobody wants a dark Flash.
I mean, they don't all have to be dark. I just think that's kind of what they've kind of thrown down, maybe to differentiate themselves from Marvel. But I have a feeling that's going to change. I think they will kind of mix in some more humor and levity into it. I think just maybe right now with the established tone that Zack Snyder has, that's what they're doing. But I think down the line, maybe they can get a little more silly.
I think that the rumors about a year ago, whatever, that they were going for like a way more kind of darker, serious tone has turned out to be true for the most part. And I think they're going to stick by that until, and again, Batman v Superman made money. It had a big drop off, sure, but it made money, and it's going to continue to make money overseas. It's going to break even for sure, and then it'll make the billion. It'll do well on Blu-ray. People will go back and continue to watch the film, and they're going to continue to make this universe the way they want to make it until we shut down and don't want to see these anymore and say, give us a lighter Flash. It's the narrative of the story right now.
Well, Arrow is dark. I mean, it's CW, but it's probably the darkest show on CW. The Flash has very dark tones on the CW as well. Yes, it may be campy at parts with Cisco and such, but I think they almost are going too dark to a fault, in my opinion. Like, they're trying so hard to be dark when it could be dark without trying so hard.
Well, I mean, something like Batman, you have to go dark
Yeah.
with that. Otherwise, you end up with Batman and Robin,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
But maybe some of their other properties they can do. I mean, Flash, maybe they just want to differentiate from the TV show, because the TV show is a little more lighthearted.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little, like you said, a little campy. I like the show.
Oh, me too. I love it.
All right, last one.
Okay, Juan Obi John asks, any chance Collider Movie Talk will broadcast a live show at San Diego Comic-Con or perhaps a live Schmoes No show?
Dennis?
That's up to technical things. WonderCon, we actually ended up shooting a movie talk here live and then going to WonderCon to cover it. When we go to Comic-Con, I think we're going to do the same thing on that Wednesday, shoot movie talk and then head to Comic-Con. I don't know what the internet situation is there. We're trying to get a room like we had for WonderCon where we can like shoot all our interviews and stuff like that. We want to do movie talk Thursday and Friday. We want to do mailbags. We want to do maybe a special Jedi Council, maybe a special Heroes. But as of right now, we're planning on doing that pre-recorded and then uploading. I don't know if the internet can sustain it.
Yeah, it's the same thing with us for Schmoes. We're going to probably do a show there that we would like to do live if possible, but like Dennis said, it just depends on streaming. But one of the things that should be said now, anyway, we'll talk about this many more times leading up to Comic-Con, is for the last 2 years, there's been a Collider meet and greet, and then there's been a separate kind of Schmoes meet and greet. We're doing it all one big thing. We're going to do a Schmoes/Collider meet and greet with the fans at Comic-Con. We just got to figure out kind of when and where and all that jazz. But people that have been asking, yes, we're definitely doing it again this
It's
year.
going to be a lot of fun.
Glorious
The
family.
WonderCon one we just had, I had a blast at.
Yeah, I
We're
missed
all a
it.
big happy family now.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, that's it for today's show. I want to thank the people joining us. Josh, where can people find you?
You guys can see me every Monday here on Collider doing TV Talk. Hashtag at Collider TV Talk. Send me in some questions. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh Macuga, and my YouTube channel. The first ever episode of The Josh Macuga Show is this Monday. YouTube.com, The Josh Macuga Show.
Kristian?
Well, today, 2 p.m., the movie trivia schmodown goes up again. It's going to be Rudnick versus Levine. Go and check that out. It'll be up at 2 p.m. See who's going to rise as a contender. And speaking of contenders, we've got the number 2 ranked contender right over here who's got a match next week against Classy Clark Wolf. If you win, you get a title shot against the winner of Mark Riley and JTE. If you lose, you go to Stinkville. Word to Clark Macuga. Anything you got?
Clark
Macuga.
Macuga.
Clark Macuga. Anything to say to Clark Macuga?
My
thought
future
Jo-
second ex-wife,
Yeah.
Clark Macuga.
I thought Josh was already in Stinkville.
Yeah, I've been living in Stinkville for a while. Clark, I'm not scared of you. Listen, everybody talks a big game. Clark Wolf knows all her stuff. She knows horror. She knows director. She knows. Listen, I know what matters. Bad Boys 2 and Airborne. That's all you need to know.
That's it. So there you go. That's going to happen
Ooh.
next week. And then the following week is Finstock versus Schnepp. I can't wait for that one. Follow me at Kristian Harloff, Twitter and Instagram.
And Natasha, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at NatashaAlexis_ and on Facebook at Facebook/NatashaAlexisMartinez.
And you guys can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero, on Instagram, Dennis.tzng. Make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Collider Videos. We have a ton of new programming, TV Talk, Schmodown, a lot of cool stuff. And make sure we have mailbag this weekend. Me and Kristian and Wendy are doing that. And we will see you guys next week.
Hey guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help you stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Collider.